Hi, this is Madhurita Goswami with ThePrint, and I'm here with actor, writer, producer Kal Penn, and I'm going to ask you a few questions about your journey. Like, how did it happen? Namesake, Harold and Kumar, Obama administration, and then now writing a book. So, how did that happen? And tell me a little bit about your journey.
Sure. So that's a longer question than we have time for,
Yes,
I think. So
you can do it.
I'll do the like shameless plug for it's all in the book.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, I wrote this book because I didn't have a book like it when I was growing up. So when I was in my 20s, I would have loved to have a book about like how to navigate careers that seem to be divergent from each other, industries that seem to be insular. Everybody thinks of Hollywood as a very closed community. Same thing with the political world. And so I certainly didn't know anybody in either of them when I wanted to kind of test the waters, and feel really blessed that thanks to the audience who supported me from, American Daisy and the Harold and Kumar movies to now, there was just an opportunity to write a story about that. And journey-wise, look, I was born and raised in New Jersey in the States. I had the chance to go to a publicly funded performing arts high school, which is the only reason that I got the encouragement to sort of try to pursue acting professionally. And so it was a lot of the support of my teachers and friends to try to pursue the arts in a way that thankfully paid off in my experience. So I'm always very grateful to the fans who have given me and a lot of the other folks in our movies a career.
How did politics happen?
Sort of by accident. I was working on a show called House during the early presidential primary season in American politics. So both major parties have, 12 people roughly each at the time running to get the nomination, and then 2 people would run for president. And there's a wonderful actor, director named Olivia Wilde who worked on House with me.
Yeah.
She said she had a +1 to an Obama campaign event, and did I want to come with her? And I said, no, I'm good. I don't really want to come to a political event. She kept asking me again and again, and the last time she asked me, she goes, it would be fun, it's an open bar. And I was like, oh, great, yeah, I'll come. And I really liked what I heard, and met some really inspiring people, and decided to volunteer at the time for the Obama campaign. And then, long story short, that led to an opportunity to serve in government. So I took a sabbatical from acting for about 2 years, served in government, mostly as the president's liaison to young people and the arts community. And then went back to my first love, which is making movies.
Yes. And tell me a little bit, we keep hearing this, that even under the Obama administration, the US foreign policy remains almost the same, whereas the domestic policy is where we see a lot of differences if like a Republican president wins. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it depends. I think if you're alluding to the current administration, it's only 10 days in. So it's a little early to see the ramifications of things that they're doing. I do think there are a lot of similarities between both parties, particularly if you're progressive and if you're young. A lot of the Biden foreign policy was very similar to the Trump foreign policy. I'm thinking namely of things like Middle East conflicts, or our relationship with Cuba was very similar, different from Obama Trump, but Trump Biden were maybe a little more similar. But I think there are a lot of departures on things like foreign aid, which Trump is saying he's freezing, rolling back a lot of multilateral partnerships and relationships like the Paris Climate Agreement, which Democrats really favored. So I think there's a lot of TBD. I don't think it's exactly accurate to say that both parties are the same, because there are some nuances when it comes to things like climate change and foreign aid. But I am not particularly hopeful right now, but it's still really early to see how it's going to impact things.
What about immigration? Like during the Kamala Harris campaign, she was also talking about, increasing border agents and things like that. So do you think under Trump, the immigration policies will see a massive change? I know it is already, but give me your view of the...
Yeah, I think there's no doubt. President Trump ran on a campaign of restricting immigration, both undocumented and legal immigration. The right in the U.S. Has a significant anti-immigrant sentiment for a variety of reasons.
Do you think the Democratic Party under Joe Biden did enough for immigrants?
Look, I'm farther to the left of Joe Biden, so I would argue no, we should have done more. But I think that the world that we're living in doesn't necessarily reflect that now. I also think one of the big challenges with the Democratic campaigns, whether it was Biden-Harris reelect or then Harris-Walz, is that they didn't really offer the American people solutions to the challenges that they were facing. I mostly deal with young people. That was my job in the Obama administration. So young people who are having trouble affording the cost of living or the price of groceries that went up 20%, when they see someone like Vice President Harris saying, I'm going to do exactly the same as what Joe Biden did, that doesn't necessarily offer solutions to things that they're feeling. So we saw two things. We did see a rightward shift in America, but we also saw a lot of young people and a lot of voters in general just stay home compared to the prior election. So I don't think it's fair to say that there was a huge sea of people suddenly supporting Trump, but I think it was a perfect storm of maybe a lack of creativity and a lack of ideas in the Democratic Party that were offering solutions to voters, and President Trump being very clear on what he wanted to accomplish, which he's starting to do. So complicated if you're
Right.
if you're an America-loving lefty like me.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.